So Spaghetti Incident comes through.
Yeah.
You're a part of that. You got to play on some of those great songs. Again, of course, like you say, kind of vibe with the band, you know, in the studio, which was fantastic. Now, obviously, from that era, you know, of course, you're in all the MTV videos and, like you say, the endless tour. But you get into Slash's Snakepit.
Yeah.
You know, tell us a little bit about how all that came together, because obviously he's your guitar compadre, you know, in the band, and you guys bonded over, you know, influences and so much greatness. But you know, making that record, and I know there's some great characters involved, but how did that come about? Was that just a little side project where we were just doing recordings?
Well, no, I mean, it's Slash's Snakepit really started because when the tour was done, you know, everybody was starting to write some songs for the next Guns record, you know, and it really was just ideas of, you know, let's see what we all have, you know. So I submitted some songs. Slash, you know, goes, you know, Slash likes to do things the band way, you know, where I can actually sit down and do a quick demo, play drums, guitar, whatever, just to get my idea out. He likes to do it the band way. He likes to jam with guys and, you know, work on, you know, different ideas, you know, kind of make the soup of the song and stuff. So he had some ideas. So him and Matt were getting together. Slash had a studio in his house. So they were getting together, and then he called me and said, hey, why don't you come down and let's jam on some of these ideas? I go, well, I got a couple ideas too. So we all got it together, and we just started recording a bunch of songs, and we actually had a lot of really good bones of a song, like no lyrics, but just musically. And so finally it was time to present it to Axl, you know, and Axl heard it, and he just wasn't into it, you know. He just, you know, his ideas, I mean, from what, you know, he told me, you know, he goes, I want to go in a different direction with the band, you know. I mean, the days of Appetite are over. I want to bury that record. I want to, you know, he liked bands like Nine Inch Nails, you know, he liked Pearl Jam, you know. He was just really kind of getting into some different stuff. So I think when he heard, and once again, I'm speculating, I think when he heard the stuff, it might have sounded a little too southern rock, too guitar-based, you know, and it just didn't do anything for him. And apparently Duff agreed with Slash, you know, that, you know, this shouldn't be the next Guns record. So Slash, I know, felt really close to those songs. It's just like, well, it's kind of like what happened with me. I had a bunch of songs. I gave them to Axl. Said, look, if you like any of these, let me know. He didn't like any of them. So I made Pawn Shop Guitars as my first solo record. So I think Slash did the same thing. I really like these songs. I really want to get them out there. So we kind of created a band. It really wasn't a band, but it was just the guys that were jamming. And once again, it was Slash and Matt, Mike Inez, and myself, you know, made the record, recorded the whole record before we found a singer. And Slash really did the singer search to find Eric Dover, where I was already on tour doing my solo record stuff. And he found Eric, he did all the vocals, and, you know, it just kind of, it evolved. Nobody sat down and said, hey, let's do this. It just evolved. It was the same way when I did my record. Hey, I got, you know, 10 songs I really like, and I'm in Guns N' Roses, but they don't want to do them. Might as well do a solo record. And I think that was Slash's same thinking. Perfect.
Now, Tijuana Jail, I hear, is a true story?
No, well, yes and no. Tijuana Jail, I mean, you know, there's a lot of things people said, well, you know, the geography doesn't add up. You say this in Texas. I go, look, man, I'm one of those guys where I take a story and I embellish a little bit, you know, and have some fun with it. It's just a song. But it's partially true. It's partially true.
Okay. Well, killer album, and obviously Virgin Records was doing their thing. You had the Virgin Publishing deal, so you're at home with
I was with the whole Virgin family
team
for many years.
Yeah. It's amazing seeing Richard just get his star on the Boulevard a couple days ago. He's still doing it, man. Starting the Virgin Festival and the Virgin Hotels and all
Innovator.
that. Yeah, absolutely amazing thing. So you've had a run now of quite a few solo albums. This new solo album is your ninth?
Let me think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's my 5th. Officially 5th. There's a couple of live records and things like that, but original songs, I think it's my 5th. Okay.
And in making this record, I know it's the songs that are just coming out, but as you look at them, what's the feel? What did you capture?
Well, I think with anything, it's evolving as a musician, as an artist. Once again, as I said earlier, you know, to me, if you can take songs off the Kill for Thrills record, Pawn Shop Guitars, and this record, and they all mix and match. They really still sound from the same artist. But it's evolving. I feel, you know, I'm a better guitar player, I'm a better songwriter, I'm a better lyricist. You know, all these things have evolved over the years. So that's what I think it is. I think this record is a little bit more focused. When you listen to Pawn Shop Guitars, once again, it came out in, I believe, '94. It could be confusing. Like, if you only knew about me from being in Guns N' Roses, then you're gonna like Cure Me or Kill Me in Tijuana Jail. But you're not gonna like Joanna's Chopper because it might be a little too Beatlesy for you, or you might not like Hunting Dogs because it's too bluesy. But at that time, I felt that's who I am. You know, I like blues. I like the Beatles pop. You know, and I like, you know, the Scorpions. You know, so it was important to me. But I think what's happened on the last two records is it's evolved into more of one sound where they're not like, this is a rock song, this is a pop song, this is a blues song. They're all a rock song, a pop song, and a blues song.
Now, I remember the tale, you playing at Slim Jim's, the Cat Club, and of course we know who was living in the hotel across the street, and I heard he wandered in during a gig. Oh,
the Axl night.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wandered in. I mean, we were playing there. We were doing a regular Thursday night thing that went on for like 7 years, you know. Wow. And all of us kind of came and went, and it was actually one night that really was. I mean, that night was packed every single night. He just happened to pick a night that really wasn't that packed. I mean, there were maybe 100 people in there. It really wasn't that many people. But Slim Jim came up to me and goes, dude, I think Axl's sitting at the bar. And I go, get the fuck out of here. I hadn't spoken to him in 5 or 6 years.
Right.
And he goes, I think he's sitting at the bar. And so sure enough, I walked by and I looked at him. And to be honest, I didn't really recognize him because he was facing the bar and I was the other way. And I just heard, hey. And I was like, whoa. And the voice I recognized right away. I go, hey, man. We started talking. Apparently, he had just gone to see was it Roger Waters play.
Okay.
And he was just, you know, a night on the town, just, you know, a couple friends, and stopped by the bar. And he sat there, and we talked for a little while, and I go, well, I got to go do my set, you know, with the guys. And we sat there, and he's standing right in front of me as we're playing, right, like staring at me, like from you to me.
Is that right?
And we're playing it, and I just go, dude, come up here and sing. And he jumped up right away, and we started doing Dead Flowers, you know, and a bunch of Stone stuff that we always screwed around with over the years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, the one thing about my relationship with Axl is, you know, he grew up in Indiana, and I grew up in Ohio. We really grew up with the same radio. You know, the same music that he heard, I heard. You know, we had those same influences. And I know over the years we used to talk about it, like listening to AM radio and all those old songs that, like I said, we grew up on all the same kind of music. So.
That's amazing. Well, we saw that coming out in Axl with his love for Elton John.
Absolutely.
And, you know, all that, you know, more pop and more lush, you know, oriented type stuff. Well, I know you've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame under your belt, and being a Cleveland guy, you know, you can go back and see something in the vault there. And I know you weren't part necessarily of the induction, but you're part of the jam, you know, the live thing to celebrate with the guys. And what was that like? What's your best memory of that night?
Well, let me see. What was my best memory of the night? I mean, I actually have some things I didn't like about the night. I mean, I have some real feelings about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all, you know, it's like, you know, what is it really?
It's like a company. It's not really like a body of...
Yeah, it's not the Smithsonian.
No.
And it's funny because when Axl bowed out, you know, I didn't really disagree with a lot of things he said.
Yeah, Pistols bowed out. A lot of people bowed out.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. So anyway, with those feelings aside, you know, I really was going to have any part in it whatsoever. You know, matter of fact, I didn't think Guns guys were going to really have a lot to do with it. And maybe as a day or two before, I got a call from Duff saying, hey, we decided we're going to play. Obviously, Izzy and Axl aren't going to go. We would love you to be there with us. And that's all he had to say to me. I didn't want to talk about it. I said, if you're asking me to play, I'll be there. You know. And so my wife and I went. And the performance itself, I actually had the time of my life. I really did. All the other stuff was a little political. And I'm not talking about the band guys. I'm just talking about, you know, the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The organization.
How they handle things is, you know, it's not for me. But the actual playing with the guys, having Miles, you with the biggest balls in the world, standing up there and singing, doing a great job. Having Matt and Steven, between the two of them, sharing the stage together. You know, there were some really cool moments. There were moments even backstage of us guys, you know, well, you know, we had all played with each other here and there over the years. Together for just that was, you know, kind of interesting. What was also interesting was all the wives were there, and it was great because all the wives got along great. And that doesn't always happen in bands. And it was really nice. It really felt more like a family and more like we were on the same team together. And to me, that's really felt good. The whole thing about me not being inducted and stuff, I mean, definitely hurt my feelings, you know. Yeah. But it's part of life. I'm a big boy. I can take it and stuff, you know. And you know, a Guns N' Roses fan, you know, will accept me for my contributions. I had nothing to do with the Appetite for Destruction record. I had nothing to do with the Illusion records, and I accept that. All I did was I was a team member when we went on tour, and like I said, representing the band all these years later and stuff, you know. And I think the real fans see that, and I'm okay with that. I don't really need, you know, that thing from, you know, the Cleveland, you know, museum. Yeah.
Well, that's great that you enjoyed what you could for it and not worried about the rest of it, because that debate goes on forever.
Absolutely, you know? Absolutely. And
every year it's like, are you serious? These guys aren't in yet?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it was, for me, what was disappointing at that time was, you know, like I'm friends with Dave Navarro, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers were inducted, but Dave Navarro wasn't inducted. But their brand new guitar player that hadn't even played on a record yet was inducted. You know, so I mean, in a weird way, those little things made me go, ah, well, I'm not the only guy standing on the outside over here. There's a lot of little weird things that happens, you know. So, like I said, there's no consistency there.
Right, we get it, we get it. Well, I know you got these amazing Southern California shows coming up. The solo album's coming out. You do Sturgis every year, man. Motorcycles. At what age did you start riding?
Oh, I mean, I was riding since I was a kid, little kid. I've had a motorcycle for as long as I can
off-road back in Ohio?
Yeah, I mean, I was never like a dirt rider, but I always had like a Trail 70 or something like. Before I actually could drive, I rode a motorcycle back and forth to work every day. I was always a motorcycle guy ever since in the Cat House days. I rode my motorcycle to Cat House, and even before. I mean, even when I was in bands, I wasn't quite in Guns yet, but the Kill for Thrills days, we had a little Hollywood garage that we all used to, you know, work on our bikes in. It was like 4 or 5 of us. It's like a little conglomerate that we used to, you know, fix our bikes. Well, a couple of the guys went on and went to MMA school and became certified mechanics, had their own shops. And I myself, I mean, I was getting the Guns gig and had to go in a different direction and stuff, but I've always retained that, you know, motorcycle thing, you know. It's like I like working on them, I like building them, I like riding them. It's just, it's a part of who I am, and it's an important part of who I am. Yeah.
Well, it goes with the music so well, you know, from Easy Rider to you know, Marlon Brando to, you know, all of them. It's hand in hand. Well, I can't thank you enough. We're going to be there. We're going to help pack these shows out and be right there to support you. I'm
excited about these shows. Like I said, we haven't really done proper shows in a while, you know, and I think it's great doing them, you know, like I said, the California shows and stuff. These are big venues, to be honest, for me to be headlining, you know. I mean, I've always considered myself as a club guy, you know, so, you know, I'm excited. I've gone to all these venues. They're great venues, so I'm excited, and we're going to have a really good show.
Yeah, it's going to be so exciting to see it. Well, Gilby, can't thank you enough.
You're welcome.
Look forward to the next time.
Right on, man.